city wakes slowly like an old friend stirring from a long dream. In those fragile first hours when the sky is still bruised with night, the streets are empty except for the ones who refuse to let the day begin without them. I pedaled through these quiet veins of concrete and shadow camera, rolling low from my chest, capturing the way light creeps between buildings like hesitant fingers. Every ride feels like eavesdropping on a world that hasn't quite opened its eyes yet. And on this corner, always the same corner, there's Elias. A small man with shoulders bent not from age but from carrying the same hope for decades. His cart is a relic once bright red, now the color of dried rust and faded memories. A single blue flame flickers under a dented aluminum pot. Steam rises in lazy curls, carrying the scent of cardamom and roasted beans across the empty sidewalk. Tiny paper cups lined up like soldiers waiting for orders. He stands behind it, all hands clasped eyes, scanning the horizon as if expecting someone who never quite arrives on time. I first saw him months ago. The air was sharp with winter, my breath fogging the lens. I rode past without stopping another vendor in a city full of them. But something about the way he didn't call out, didn't wave his arms like the others, it stayed with me. He just existed there, patient as stone. So the next morning I came back, and the next, until stopping became part of my route. One black coffee, no sugar. He pours it the same way every time, slow tilt of the pot, a small swirl to mix the grounds that settle at the bottom. He hands it over without a word, but his eyes meet mine for a fraction longer than necessary. Not curiosity. Recognition. Like he knows I'm not just another customer passing through. Over time, pieces slipped out. Not all at once. Stories don't work that way. They leak like light through cracked shutters, small, then brighter. He was a mechanic once. Fixed engines in a noisy garage downtown. Loud tools, oil-stained hands, laughter echoing off metal. His daughter Layla used to sit on a stool in the corner after school, swinging her legs, drawing pictures of cars with wings. She was 8 when she started helping him at home grinding coffee beans in an old wooden mill measuring cardamom pods with tiny fingers. Strong Baba, she'd say, no sugar, like grown-ups, drink it. He'd laugh and ruffle her hair. Those afternoons were the warmest part of his life. Then, one evening, she went to buy bread. Just bread. The corner store was only 2 blocks away. She waved goodbye from the doorway, ponytail bouncing small coins jingling in her pocket. He watched her disappear around the bend. She never came back. The police came. Neighbors whispered. Flyers on every lamppost. Weeks became months. Months became years. The garage closed. Friends drifted. But Elias kept the coffee recipe. Kept the cart. Moved it to this corner, the last place anyone saw her walking toward. Every morning he sets up before dawn. Every evening he packs up after the last customer. And every day he leaves 1 extra cup on the edge of the cart. Black, no sugar, whisper of cardamom. It cools untouched, a quiet offering to the possibility that tomorrow she might remember. Not everyone is a stranger. There's the taxi driver Kareem who stops every Tuesday. Always in a hurry, always the same joke. Make it quick, Elias, my passengers think I'm a rocket. But he lingers longer than he needs to, talking about his own daughter who's away at university. Elias listens, nods, pours a second cup for free sometimes. Family is fuel, he says quietly, even when they're far. Then there's Aisha, the school teacher. She comes at 7:15, sharp scarf wrapped tight against the morning chill. She tells Elias about her students, the boy who draws endless pictures of the sea, the girl who reads poetry under her desk. Elias smiles faintly. Sounds like Layla, he murmurs once. Aisha doesn't press. She just sips her coffee and watches the street wake up with him. And the stray cat Gray with 1 white paw, it appears like clockwork at 6:45. Elias sets a small saucer of milk beside the untouched cup. The cat drinks, then curls up near the wheel of the cart as if guarding it. Elias never pets it. He just lets it stay. I started coming more often, not just for coffee, for the ritual, the way the city changes around him while he remains the same. One morning, I asked the question that had been burning in me. Why do you stay here after all this time? He looked at the horizon where the first rays of sun were cutting through the buildings. Because someone might need it, he said. His voice was steady but thin like paper worn from folding and unfolding too many times. Someone always does. And if Layla is out there, she knows this corner. She knows the smell of this coffee. If she's lost, this is the light I leave on for her. He told me more that day. How Layla used to sing while grinding beans, off-key, happy songs from the radio. How she'd beg him to tell stories about faraway places while the coffee brewed. How one night, after a long day, she fell asleep on his shoulder, small hand clutching his shirt. "I promised her," he whispered. "I promised I'd always be here when she came home." The words hung between us like steam. I didn't know what to say, so I just sat on the curb, coffee cooling in my hands, watching the street filled with people who had no idea they were walking past a quiet miracle every day. Years passed differently for Elias, not in birthdays or holidays, in cups poured, in extra saucers for the cat, in the small nods from regulars who sense something deeper but never ask. He doesn't complain. He doesn't despair out loud. He simply continues. Because stopping would mean admitting the light is out, and he refuses. Some mornings I ride slower past his corner. I watch from afar as he sets up. The flame lit, the pot filled, the extra cup placed just so, and I think this is what hope looks like when no one's watching. Not fireworks, not grand gestures, just one man, one cart, one cup waiting in the cold. I still ride these streets at dawn, still stop for coffee, still see the untouched cup cooling on the edge, and every time something inside me shifts, a reminder that the most powerful promises aren't shouted. They're kept in silence day after day until the world notices. Until perhaps one morning a woman with familiar eyes walks up, sees the faded red cart, smells the cardamom and says, "Baba, is that still how you make it?" Elias would pour the coffee, strong, no sugar, and hand it over without a word. Because some homecomings don't need explanations. They just need the light left on. Until then he waits, and the city whispers his story back to him one steaming cup at a time.